She was halfway through my laser tripwire grid, coated in olive oil and dragging a yoga mat behind her like a sled, when the prototype's targeting system beeped to life. I watched in stunned silence from the garage's internal monitor as Lindami HOA president and a one-woman crusade of neighborhood oversight crawled past a crate marked, "Do not disturb unless you're done breathing." It was 2:03 a.m. She muttered something about illegal storage and property checks, oblivious that one more inch would unleash a non-lethal suppression net meant for cartel busts. That's when it sank in. This woman had no clue she'd just breached the most secure CIVY Leon garage in 3 counties, and it was about to make itself known. The irony? I'd moved here to escape this kind of chaos. After years designing tactical systems for special ops, some still denied by the Pentagon, I retired to a quiet life. I bought a modest house on a sleepy cul-de-sac, surrounded by retirees, yoga enthusiasts, and weekend barbecue buffs. It seemed the perfect spot to fade into the background, tinker with motorcycles, or take on the odd contract gig in my garage. I installed a privacy fence and blackout curtains to keep prying eyes away. But here's the kicker. Try too hard to stay unnoticed, and you attract every bit of attention, especially from someone like Linda. She showed up on day 1 with a clipboard, a forced smile, and a tape measure. I was still unloading my truck when she marched over to check my mailbox height, citing code compliance. I told her I'd follow any rule that didn't trample the Constitution. She didn't crack a smile. Her eyes lingered on my garage double-reinforced titanium doors with a biometric lock, and she frowned. "What's in there?" she asked. "Tools," I replied, which was true, just not the whole story. By week's end, she'd filed 3 complaints. One for a strange humming, my battery core stabilizer running diagnostics, one for overly armored trash bins, and one for intimidating landscaping because I chose gravel over mulch. I stayed polite, waved when I saw her, and avoided confrontation, hoping she'd lose interest. But Linda's curiosity was a full-time gig, and I'd become her obsession. Things escalated when the HOA rolled out a new rule about garage inspections, supposedly for community safety and to root out unregistered machinery. It was obviously aimed at me. At the meeting, I leaned back in a folding chair and asked, "What are we looking for?" "Secret robot armies." A few laughed. Linda didn't. She stared at me like I was a national threat. I told her plainly, "No one enters my garage but me. It's a secure lab, and the city's approved it." From then on, I caught her lurking, once pacing my driveway pretending to text, another time tossing a frisbee over my fence and asking to grab it. I threw it back and said, "No need to thank me." She didn't. That brings us to that night. My silent alarm woke me a breach via the unsealed doggy door I hadn't fixed since I don't own a dog. My mistake. I grabbed my tablet and pulled up the garage feed. There was Linda, headlamp on, slathered in Crisco, sliding across the epoxy floor like a low-budget spy flick meets yoga class. The system flagged her heat signature, cross-referenced it against threats, now including HOA board members, and primed the net launcher. I had 90 seconds before she'd be trussed up like a furious burrito. I bolted out of bed, threw on jeans, and slipped into the garage via the side door. My voice command halted the net just in time, but not before she yelped and dove behind a workbench. Then she saw it, racks of inert prototypes, armor plates, and tactical gear with military codes. She pointed wide-eyed, shouting, "I knew it. You're making bombs." I deadpanned, "Lady, that's a smart wrench. It tightens bolts with VY-Brat ion analytics. Relax." But Linda was unstoppable. "This VY-OLAT city codes. No one needs this unless they're government." I blinked. I was government. You just broke into a federally audited lab. She didn't buy it. She tried to bolt, slipped on coolant, and knocked over a tactical helmet that lit up and scanned her face. I killed it before it flashed its beacon. Covered in gear, she shrieked about illegal labs and citizens' arrests. I helped her up, escorted her out, and gave her 10 seconds to leave before I reported her for felony trespassing. Something, maybe my tone or the drone humming nearby, finally clicked. She stormed off, greasy and tangled in comms wire, vowing to bring the HOA down on me. Next morning, Linda stood in my driveway, arms crossed, hoodie speckled with synthetic netting, glaring through oversized sunglasses. I sipped coffee on my porch, expecting her after last night's fiasco. I'd even brewed an extra cup. She stewed in silence before snarling, "You assaulted me with machines. There are laws, you know." I raised my mug. "Morning, Linda. Want some Crisco with your threats?" She huffed and stomped off, leaving oil stains on the concrete. My garage was now Fort Knox triple sealed, running diagnostics every 5 minutes. Linda didn't know she'd triggered a level 2 breach protocol, logging her biometrics in every move. If she sneezed near my property, it'd chirp. By noon, 2 patrol officers knocked a routine check on a domestic disturbance complaint. I invited them in, offered coffee, and showed the footage of Linda slinking through my garage like a determined raccoon. One laughed so hard he snorted, the other mouthed, "Oh my God," when she snagged the net. They asked what I did. "Consultant for tactical systems, government adjacent," I said vaguely. They nodded, called it a non-issue, warned her off, and asked for the VY-DAO for training. I sent it. But Linda wasn't done. The next day, the HOA called an emergency meeting over unconfirmed reports of military-grade installations in my garage. The flyer screamed in all caps. I attended out of principle. Linda stood at the clubhouse projector with a slide reading, "Who is he?" in red Comic Sans. She ranted about safety, secrecy, and my garage's unnatural quiet. She'd heard explosions, a sonic shield test, barely 60 decibels, and accused me of hoarding explosives. I let her ramble 5 minutes before raising my hand. Reminder: Linda broke into my property, got caught in a legal anti-theft system, and now blames me because she dislikes my garage door. A few chuckled. Linda snapped. "This isn't about me. It's safety. No citoyen needs biometric locks unless they're hiding danger." I crossed my arms. "Or keeping dangerous people out." The board ruled that without proof of HO violations, they couldn't touch my garage. Linda stormed out, muttering about the city council or FBI. I considered mailing her a constitution for laughs. 3 quiet days passed centuries in Linda time. Then I found an odd ammo case in my trash, not mine, wrong caliber with a fresh fingerprint. Next, a tactical lubricant canister in my recycling, clearly homemade. That night, 2 HOA members asked about contraband. Linda claimed I'd discard it. I showed footage of her planting it at 2:11 a.m. Gloved up, HOA enforcement fanny pack glittering. They left embarrassed, promising to handle her. I doubted it. I called an old buddy, Lieutenant Torres, now a military liaison coordinator. We'd worked classified ops together. He laughed for 30 seconds when I explained, then said, "Time we cited your HOA. We planned a safety certification walkthrough during the next meeting, legal, subtle, and enough to make Linda squirm. The city greenlit it in 24 hours under an experimental tech grant. I prepped my gear. Torres brought demo specialists posing as civilians, and we waited. Linda's next move was a box on my porch labeled, "Illegal Weapons EVY Denke." Inside, paintball guns, a toy grenade, and a typo-riddled, "How to Make Dangerous Stuff" manual. I laughed so hard I nearly spilled my coffee. She'd gone full conspiracy nut, framing me with toys. At the HOA review EW, she dumped the EVY Denke on the table, calling me a threat to squirrels and kids. A board member pressed the grenade's button. It blinked and beeped. Linda jumped, yelling, "Dangerous." I handed out city permits proving my lab's legitimacy and footage of her stuffing the box at 3:07 a.m. She slipped into her recycling bin, escaping. One board member suggested therapy. She left fuming. That night, my shed pinged a cheap drone stuck on the roof, broadcasting a weak signal. Inside, a note: "Keeping an eye on you. HAC's all." I dismantled it in 10 minutes and called Torres. Time to go big. We set up a public community security demo with a contractor, legal, educational, unmissable. Linda kept escalating. Flyers about war machines, a backyard QVA on suburban threats, a failed noise complaint against my stabilizer. The officer told her my garage was quieter than her fridge. She cried, actual tear pointing at me, wailing, "He's hiding something." I said nothing. Demo day arrived. Neighbors gathered with chairs and hot dogs. Torres's crew unloaded sleek gear, demoed a vault door like mine, and showed a drone detector pinging Linda's device. She paled. I unveiled a Roomba-sized bot that waved and projected Neighborhood Watch 2.0. The crowd loved it. Linda screamed faintly. Torres handed the HOA a certification praising my garage. She hid in the bathroom for 30 minutes. That night she tried my lock again. The scanner blared, "Access denied. Contact admin or go home, Linda." She gave up. She hired a discount security team next 3 guys with cereal box badges. I invited them in, showed my drone feed of their approach, and explained the auto defenses. They left with sodas, selfies, and a refund for Linda. At the next HA meeting, she presented proof, garbled audio from my soundproofing test, deploy the toaster drone, and blurry drone pics. I countered with permits, clearance, and HD footage of her spying. Torres arrived with city officials, praising my work and noting illegal surveillance from someone here. Linda collapsed into her chair. She sued me for emotional distress via a keypad message. In court, her binder of evidence flopped against my footage and permits. The judge dismissed it in 5 minutes. Torres texted checkmate. Linda sold her house weeks later, moving to a gated community run by lawyers. A young couple bought it, bringing cookies, not clipboards. I joined a city safety council, turning my garage into a community asset. Linda thought she'd expose me. Instead, she made me the neighborhood's quiet guardian. Every hum from my garage reminded her, poke the wrong guy, and you'll end up in your own net.